Globe. Okay. All right. Welcome to BitDevs Radio Hour number 13. It's incidentally Friday, March the 13th, 2026. We're broadcasting live from ATL BitLab. I'm Stephen DeLorme.
My name is Alex Lewin.
How's it going?
It is going quite well. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Goodness makes a funny sound when it gets opened.
It really does.
Yeah, because we're in the tech scene and it's March and 2026, we now have a cool globe, just like every other tech company in the world, on our website.
Yeah, look at all those orange dots on the globe. That's real proof that they're supporting the agentic economy.
That's right, you know.
Yeah, they're agent enabled.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lots of globes. All right, we got some topics to talk about.
Yeah, what's been happening in the past week here?
Anywhere you want to start?
Oh boy, well maybe just as a light and breezy one real quick. In Bitcoin Core news, we talked a little bit last week about Matt Corallo's new bit for increasing the size of the nonce space for miners to 24 bits. Kind of update in the past week, there's already a kind of draft PR open to Bitcoin Core for that from Antoine. And I guess it's still a draft bit, but there's already a PR for it. So yeah, that's moving quick.
That's awesome. Yeah, it turns out good ideas move quickly, or like good, technical, uncomplicated ideas move quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder what the speedrun record is for like idea to merge in Bitcoin Core is. Like, what's the least amount of time it's taken for like a net new idea to like make it through the pipeline and actually get merged?
Go back to Satoshi era for that, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Just being YOLO merged by Satoshi. No PR at all.
I'm guessing this one is like close. Assuming this gets merged timely, this is probably the fastest feature to get merged. And
it's not getting merged, just a PR.
Correct. If it gets merged in a timely manner, it would be like pretty fast. Close to the top of the record past decade.
Next thing you know, people are going to be jumping into the PR being like, 24 bits, that's more bits we didn't have before. That's going to mess with Bitcoin.
Yeah, we should make a fork of Bitcoin and then like get people to run it that like doesn't do this.
I'm going to make a fork of Bitcoin that's going to have no bits for the nonce field.
That's amazing. Yeah, and but we can just trust one really important, very trustworthy miner or very trustworthy node to distribute blocks and to pick nonces for everybody.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's all the knots talk for. Yeah, we actually have nothing about BIP, whatever the BIP was.
And we don't mean this to imply that nothing happened in Bitcoin Core in the past week. It's just to imply that these are the things that caught our eye in the past week.
Yeah.
So where should we go next?
Okay, this one's kind of cool. So Dahlia. So we actually talked about this at BitDevs maybe 6 months ago. Dahlias is a paper that provides a solution for cross-input signature aggregation that uses Bitcoin's elliptic curve. Stephen, remind me what cross-input signature aggregation is.
Okay, so if you have two outputs on the blockchain and you want to spend those outputs, then typically you would need to provide, when you try to go to spend each of those outputs, you need to provide a signature for each of those outputs. So even if it's the same, even if you're spending them both in the same transaction, you would still need to sign for both of them. But, well, and you got to think of like, what would be the problem with that? I mean, it works fine, it's secure, but every signature ends up taking up more room on the blockchain in terms of trying to spend it. And you can imagine if you're trying to spend a lot of inputs in a transaction, it's a lot more signatures. Whereas signature aggregation is this idea that can we use fancy, new, cool cryptography to aggregate two signatures into one. You see this a lot with like the MuSig and a lot of the other like more modern multi-sig schemes where like the first generation of multi-sig was like you have a bunch of Bitcoin script that says like you need a signature from one of these 3 public keys, and then you need to provide a signature for each one. The more modern schemes are using signature aggregation, so you're like taking a bunch of keys and aggregating them together. So you can aggregate the public keys, you can also aggregate the signatures. But typically it's been a little bit difficult to do that with cross input signature aggregation, where I'm like, you're trying to aggregate signatures across multiple different outputs that you're trying to spend.
Yeah, and like verify that within like a transaction verification process.
Yeah. Dalias, I guess, was the holy grail to do that full cross-input signature aggregation.
Yeah, and like literally, like you said, like this is a holy grail problem. Like people have been trying to do this for years, and they finally figured it out. The reason why we're talking about it again is that it was the Dalias paper was accepted into this like mainstream cryptography conference, Eurocrypt, which is pretty cool. Usually, Bitcoin cryptography, or it's rare that Bitcoin cryptography is recognized on the global cryptographic research stage. So it's nice to get recognized.
Especially in Europe. I didn't think cryptography was allowed there.
Yeah, great point. Yeah. The government hates Eurocrypt, apparently.
But that's really cool.
Yeah, it's super sick. So congrats to these guys, all the Blockstream folks, and the Ledger folks that wrote that paper. Cool. Anything else?
No, I think we're good on that one.
All right, BDK. What is BDK, Stephen?
Bitcoin Dev Kit.
Yeah, and what is the Bitcoin Dev Kit?
It's a development kit in Rust for developing Bitcoin applications.
Oh yeah? What kind of Bitcoin applications?
Well, wallets specifically, I think. Though I think you could, in theory, build all kinds of stuff with it. I mean, I think it was originally for the use case of building wallet applications, but you should be able to build a lot of different stuff with it.
Yeah, well, so BDK is still chugging along, and they just released 3 days ago the first release candidate for their 3.0 release. This is huge. The fact that BDK has been around for how long? Like since 2018, something like that. Circa.
Yeah, it used to be called Magical Bitcoin.
Yeah, but then
I think
it was acquired by Jack Dorsey, and
not acquired. It's an open source project, but
yeah.
yes, certainly do receive a good bit of support from Spiral.
Yeah, so in all of those years, they've only had 2 major releases. So this is the 3rd major release. In the world of software, oftentimes you have two kinds of changes. One change that is backwards compatible and another one that's not backwards compatible. When you have a backwards compatible change, you can kind of roll these out all willy-nilly because it doesn't matter if people upgrade or not, because they can just continue upgrading on their own time and it won't break anything. But for a change that isn't backwards compatible, that you actually can't easily upgrade, this requires a lot more coordination. So yeah, they don't do this often, where they make a breaking change that requires just detailed migration without an automatic migration path. So specifically, what's changing is a SQLite migration, which adds a new table to the wallet database, which is not backwards compatible. So yeah, typically when these things happen, it unblocks a lot of ideas that they've had. So I'm guessing that there was a bunch of things that they wanted to do, and we can see that there are many, many PRs included. And probably a lot of these they were hoping for a long time and was only able to after they did this breaking change. So exciting for BDK.
Yeah.
Any other BDK news?
No comment there.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, BDK is pretty cool. Like in the Fediment SDK, we've been copying their React Native bindings repos, the architectures, because Thunder Biscuit is very smart and did all this work, and we just stole it. So,
hey, it's open source.
It's open source. That's what it's licensed for. Okay, moving right along. Rusty Russell requests BIP numbers for 2 of the Great Script Restoration BIPs. This is pretty cool. So for those who are unaware, the Great Script Restoration is probably one of the most grandiose changes to Bitcoin that developers are currently excited about. It involves reactivating a bunch of opcodes that Satoshi disabled a long time ago. But then when we're reactivating it, we're going to do some fixes to make them like practical. Like the reason why Satoshi turned off a bunch of opcodes is because he realized that it was super dangerous to have these opcodes. So yeah, good for Bitcoin that it's safe, so that people can't break Bitcoin by using these opcodes, but it's bad for Bitcoin because they're very useful opcodes. So Rusty Russell has been probably the leader in this effort to figure out a safe way to reactivate these opcodes. So they've been working for quite some time on this. And they have, I think, like 4 or 5 different BIPs that are in progress. But now he just asked for BIP numbers for 2 of the BIPs. So yeah, this is meaning that they're in a state that's ready to be published. They've literally been working on this for years. And now it is ready for the public.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. The 2 specific BIPs are what is this? It's reactivating some opcodes that will be helpful in tap leaves. So it adds some new tap leaf version, and it allows tap script to use this thing called var ops budget. So maybe it makes more sense to talk about the other one first. One key component that makes it dangerous to use old opcodes is the fact that you can have an expensive, very expensive operation embedded in just a single opcode. So currently how script works, basically all of the opcodes are very cheap to use with very small exceptions. Like the signature checking opcodes are pretty expensive, but other than that, all of the math opcodes are very lightweight. For example, you can't even do multiplication. Like op-mult does not exist. Like if you want to multiply 2 numbers together, you have to do a bunch of repeated addition because the op-mult is seen as too dangerously expensive. So how can we reactivate these opcodes in a safe manner? Well, Rusty proposes that we actually assign a cost to each individual opcode. And currently with transactions, how we measure a transaction's, like the only thing we measure with a transaction is just how big it is. Yeah. We assume that like the size of the transaction is proportional to how expensive it is to run. But the var ops budget actually tries to calculate how expensive the transaction will be to verify how expensive the Bitcoin script will be to run by assigning a cost to each individual opcode based on its proportional cost. Or based on its CPU cost.
Yeah.
So this is super interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm a fan of it. We've talked about it a little bit on the show before here, so good to see that it's moving along.
Yeah, I remember last year at Bitcoin Plus Plus in Austin. It was like a Covenants themed conference, basically.
I think that was 24. Last year was mining. I know the one you're thinking of, the Covenants themed Bitcoin Plus Plus.
Was it not Script Edition?
Yeah, that was 2024.
Really?
Yeah, 2025 was mining.
Crazy. Okay, Bitcoin Plus Plus in Austin 2024 then was Script Edition. And Script Edition had a bunch of people coming in to talk about various covenant proposals. And this great script restoration is one of those. That nobody was really considering it, but Rusty Russell gave a keynote speech, and by the end of the talk, this is now like everybody's favorite covenant proposal. It was the highlight of the event was him going on stage and like making everybody abandon their proposals that they walked into the conference with and just join on his. It's pretty cool.
All right, where to next?
Let's talk about Coldcard. What is Coldcard, Stephen?
It's a hardware wallet.
It is a hardware wallet. And what's the reputation of the Coldcard hardware wallet?
It's like a status symbol, basically.
That's not what I was fishing for, but okay.
Oh, I mean, I think it's a good reputation.
Yeah. It's people buy Coldcards to flex on each other. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's what I was fishing for is that it's like the wallet for nerds and like hardcore Bitcoiners that really want control over everything. Like it looks like a little calculator, and it's been a favorite of super hardcore Bitcoiners for a long time.
It's like the clear Game Boys that you could like see through.
Exactly, or like the new Meta Ray-Bans.
Oh.
The ones that like have the displays, you can see through it and see the circuits.
Oh, I haven't been following that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is new about the cold cards?
Well, there's a proof of reserves feature.
Yeah, turns out cold card is supporting BIP 322, which allows you to publish a cryptographic proof of reserves that can be independently verified. So the idea of proof of reserves solves a problem where you want to prove that you have access to money without actually spending the money. Like, how do you prove that you have the keys to sign a transaction without actually signing the transaction itself or giving somebody the private key?
Yeah.
Not an easy problem to solve, especially, I mean, it's easy if you have like paid to public key addresses, but it's not easy if you have other complicated addresses, like in like multi-sig specifically. So this BIP gives us a way to sign a message that by verifying this message, we can have confidence that you have access to a certain number of coins or some specific UTXOs. So they say in the description, that it's perfect for audits, transparency reports, or just flexing your reserves.
Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this one does not work with Schnorr signatures, BIP 322, but I might
Really?
be wrong. I might be wrong on that.
Then what's the point? What does it do if it can't do Schnorr?
Things that are not Schnorr, like ECDSA.
But it can't do Taproot?
I might be wrong on that, but I think there, at least some of the earlier message signing stuff, I don't think you could do with Taproot.
That's surprising. That seems like a nothing burger if you can't do it with Taproot addresses.
Well, it's been a source of consternation for many people, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm curious to look this up.
You can ask Claude.
Yeah. I'll race you to it.
You're gonna win. I'll do Grok. I think that one logs in pretty reliably. Does this BIP support Schnorr signatures or just ECDSA? For those of you listening at home, Stephen and I are racing to ask AIs if this BIP supports Schnorr. Did you win already? Oh,
No, I didn't. My open claw is still scouring. Oh, it won. Yes, specifically designed to be forward compatible and it supports Taproot Schnorr natively. Okay, my mistake. Sorry for the disinformation.
Sweet. I think mine actually won. I just thought I was still thinking.
Oh, the old standard BIP 137 only worked with legacy pay-to-public key hash addresses and EDCDSA. So I am confusing this with the older standard BIP 137.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So turns out Cold Card is not a shitcoin because it supports proof of reserves for Schnorr.
Oh, that wasn't what I was getting at.
Being facetious. Yeah, pretty cool. Are you going to flex your reserves on the internet?
No. I'm not going to flex my, 200 sats that I have.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nothing more. That's, yeah.
That's good. You don't want all of the people without 200 sats to be jealous.
Yeah.
I might flex my reserves. This seems fun to tell everybody how much I'm worth on the internet. Maybe I could flex it to the government. Ha ha ha. I have all this money. You can't take it from me.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, maybe after this, now MicroStrategy can publish proof of reserves.
Oh, reading a little bit here. Apparently, it hasn't been merged into Core yet, but there is support on Sparrow Wallet.
But they have a firmware update. We're thrilled to So they haven't rolled out the firmware. Why would they announce it?
No. I'm saying that it's not like a sort of thing that like you could do using Bitcoin Core.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a clarification. It doesn't mean it's like wrong or invalid. Just saying that BIP 3.3. Sorry, I'm talking more about BIP 3.2.2 than the cold card update.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so the BIP is not official yet, but
It's a BIP. It's, again, the different states of BIPhood. A BIP can be merged and have a number and all that. Doesn't mean it's going to be live in core, right? So that's all. That's the only thing. So it's like BIP 3.2.2 exists for people who want to use it, for softwares that want to adopt it.
yeah. But all those people still using Bitcoin Core's wallets will not be able to use it.
All those people using Bitcoin Core's wallet. But I have a sense that most people who have cold cards are probably using Sparrow or something like it. Sparrow is, I kind of think, the go-to for these things, and Sparrow supports it. So that's all you need at the end of the day.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Where to next?
All right, that's enough Bitcoin news. Let's talk about Lightning. So first thing on the docket is Jonathan Harvey Bushell is fixing Lightning gossip using Minisketch. So first,
What is this mini sketch thing I keep hearing you talk about?
well, first, Lightning gossip. What is Lightning gossip, Stephen?
That's where my Lightning node gossips with your Lightning node.
Yeah, and then what does my Lightning
Yeah,
do?
but I mean, basically, all the Lightning nodes on the network, they need to share information with each other about what they know. So it's like, hi, I'm Steven's node. Well, it's not going to say that, but it's like, hi, I'm Steven's node. I know 10 other nodes. I have connections to 10 other nodes. Here are the other 10 nodes that I'm aware of. I gossip that to your node. You gossip to me. Well, here's the 10 nodes I'm aware of. Then if I want to, I can go to any of the nodes on that list and be like, well, I'm going to try and form a peer connection with that node, and then that node can gossip what it knows to me. Eventually, my node's going to have a rough map of the Lightning Network. I say rough because it's not really possible to know the exact map of the Lightning Network. There could be nodes that aren't advertising themselves, or nodes that aren't advertising peers that they have. There could be just out-of-date information, like even if every node honestly gossiped what it knew, it could be out of date by the time it gets to you. But eventually you'll have this rough map of all the different nodes, what channel sizes they might have, and you can use that rough information to plot a course through the Lightning Network to get a payment from one end to the other.
Yep. So like tons of messages. So like including channel announcements, but also like other kinds of messages like HTLC's unwinding. You still have to gossip that back to the previous. Like not everybody has a point-to-point connection, so you have to talk through other people. Are you familiar with some of the problems with gossip as they stand today?
I think the main problem I would put forth, this might not be what you're looking for, but it's just the general problem space of incompleteness and like the amount of work that you have to do for that incompleteness. It's like I can gossip with all these nodes and form this picture of the network that's really incomplete and going to be out of date, and it's probably already out of date by the time I formed it. And in order to update it again and get another incomplete picture, I have to do more rounds of communication with peers. And so it's like, it's not as computationally expensive as like, I don't know, verifying cryptography all day or mining Bitcoin. It's certainly not like that, but it is just this like overhead burden of network communications and computing to try and form an understanding of the network. That's probably, trivial for a big node running on a beefy computer. As we start to talk about mobile nodes and smaller, more lightweight nodes, that becomes a little more frustrating. But even so, as the size of the network grows, this, it is going to become more difficult to manage the complexity of all this gossip. So that would be my rough answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Like everything you said was true. Like it's just, when people talk about the problems with gossip, like yeah, it puts burdens on the nodes because of the amount of data you have to process. But specifically, the reason why there's so much data to process is that gossip is really inefficient at requesting information. So in order if you realize that you have a gap in your information, the best you can do in many cases is just to request all of the information regarding a certain topic, which creates a bunch of redundant messages. So that creates a ton of spam over gossip. Like if one node wants to like sync their graph, they're gonna yell out to the world, hey, send me everything you have. They'll send it to a bunch of peers, and then a bunch of different peers will send roughly similar copies, overlapping copies of the network. So you'll receive like 10 of the same message, which produces a bunch of stress on the network. So now we're into magical mini sketch. So what are we going to do to fix this problem of redundant data? Well, I don't know what these slides are. We're going to use something called mini sketch. So mini sketch, finally getting onto it. Mini sketch is an algorithm that was developed, I think, by Peter Wolla to do compact block filters, to request compact block filters over the network. So when you're syncing a blockchain, or syncing, when you're syncing like a new node, or when you need to like download block data from other Bitcoin nodes, you need to request a certain, you need a request for data. Actually, no, this is not for mini sketches. For mini sketches for the mempool. If your mempool is empty, how do you get access to a bunch of transactions that you don't have access to? Well, you ask in a very succinct way just for the certain transactions that you don't have access to, or that you don't have. And mini sketch is an algorithm for determining what data to send and what data to ask for. So anyway, mini sketch is an algorithm developed for Bitcoin Core to request data, and now Jonathan is adapting that to Lightning to request different kinds of data. And it turns out that the algorithm is the exact same algorithm that you need because the problems are very similar.
Yeah, no, that sounds right.
Mini sketch is black magic. Set reconciliation, set reconciliation theory. Where you can determine what overlaps with somebody else's, and then
I know JHB posted about this originally in November, I think. What's the most recent update on this?
So he's been hired by Chaincode. So he now works in Chaincode full time on this specifically. And I think the main reason why people are talking about it is he presented at Chaincode and I think at New York BitDevs about this. And people are getting excited. Like he's making a ton of progress and has published some updates with like some data regarding like his progress. So there was a delving post that he commented on with like some data about like what he's finding and like the speed ups, and they're very dramatic.
Very cool.
Yeah. One day he'll publish a digestible form like of what's going on. I think he hasn't really announced it to the world other than just through the mailing list yet. All right. Speaking of Lightning Network messaging, we have another Lightning Network messaging topic, which is LND adds onion message forwarding. 3 days ago, this is merged into LND to support onion message forwarding to peers. Stephen, what is onion message forwarding? What is an onion message?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is not to be confused with onion routing on the Lightning Network, right? One point I'd like to make. We talk about payments on the Lightning Network and how they get routed from one node to another node to another node to its final recipient. Each step of that payment is a different layer of an onion, so to speak. It's like, I'm going to take some payment instructions and encrypt it so that only the recipient can decode them, or like only so that only the next node can decode it. That node decodes it. Inside, they find instructions to send a payment to the next node. That node gets that, decrypts that. Then they have instructions to send it to maybe another node and then to the recipient. That's onion routing, right? And that's a good privacy, layer for payments. And there's, it's not perfect, but it's a good thing. Onion messages, to add a little bit more confusion, are a feature that I'm a fan of. I mean, it's basically being able to send more communications-based messages between other nodes. I mean, one of the use cases for that is Bolt 12. If I publish a static offer, this payment data, it's kind of like a static address for Lightning, and it basically has enough information so that another Lightning node can send an onion message through the Lightning network to my node, get the payment data, and then make the payment. And so yeah, it's basically just this messaging layer between Lightning nodes that is, onion routed. But they're not tied to payments. They're just messaging, right?
Yeah, and it's the same kind of messaging that Tor uses.
Yeah, except not limited to 3 nodes, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, the fewer hops, the better, I think. But Tor is, I'm pretty sure Tor is limited to just 3.
Really?
Am I wrong on that?
I thought you could have you need an entrant or an entry node, an exit node, and then you can have a variable number of intermediate nodes.
Oh, I thought the intermediates were limited, but I might be wrong on that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing one comparison a while ago that that having all the extra nodes didn't really add that much, but I might be wrong on that. So
I think it does not add much, but you can do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so I might be wrong on that, but yeah, in other words, it functions like Tor.
Yeah. So back, I mean, this is kind of super old news. It's crazy that this is only just now getting merged, but back in 2022, 2023, Bolt 12 was somewhat contentious because L&D was not a fan of Bolt 12, mainly on the basis of this feature, of the idea that Lightning nodes would have to forward these messages that it doesn't know how to process or it can't drop. It would turn Lightning nodes into a quote-unquote free messaging server for other nodes.
Well, actually, I'd like to put some nuance there because you're right. It was contentious in 2022, 2023. I don't know. I don't want to say that was L&D's stance. There was a lot of people saying that in the industry. I think that some of the opposition, within L&D was somewhat of a different nature.
Oh, really?
Though I don't remember what. I think it was more just a order of priorities. We want to, get this stuff merged in first.
I think that's what they were saying, but I remember reading, I think it was both Bosworth and then also Roast Beef on the Lightning Dev mailing list, 2021 even, a long time ago, okay. Where they explained that one of the things we don't think that Lightning Edge should be a quote-unquote free messaging server.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't want to say anybody said anything because if I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, it was certainly contentious. I mean, it clearly, I don't think it's harmed anything having a little bit of messaging between nodes.
No, I mean, it's moved along. It's happened anyways. Perhaps it happened slower because L&D wasn't enthusiastic and they were dominating Lightning adoption for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely slowed things down, adoption of Bolt 12 without L&D support, but it was fine. I mean, LDK supported it, and Phoenix Eclair supported it, Core Lightning supported it, so, interoperability was enough to get the Bolt ratified. I think the big thing is that it's been, the big hiccup with Bolt 12 has been that, I think a couple things. One, it's just been hard because you have all these existing products that already use Bolt 11, and it's very difficult to make the switch. It's kind of an annoying UX problem because the perfect thing would just be everybody supports Bolt 12 and then everybody adopts it, but you have this situation where you need to accept a payment from somebody and you put an offer in front of them and then they can't pay it because maybe their wallet doesn't support Bolt 12.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, what do? Do you make an option that's like maybe it's like, can't scan this, try the old way, try clicking here, like
It's hard, or maybe you try to like embed it somehow so that it can like it falls back, and like the upgraded wallets somehow are able to detect the extra data. Like,
I mean, I remember like years ago, I was like testing out stuff like how much data can I put in a QR code? Can I put an offer, an invoice, all in one QR code? And like you can, but it starts to get dense. And at that point, I try to not get bogged down in that stuff too much anymore.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's one of the blessings and a curse of having a decentralized protocol is that you can't force people to do things.
Yeah. But I think this will definitely be good. I mean, just having the ability to forward onion messages will I think opens the door for native Bolt 12 support in LND. So that'll be cool. One day we can hope.
Yep. I mean, yeah. At least for like the network health, this is super super important. It's like you no longer have to, if you want Bolt 12 to work, you no longer have to make sure that you have peers with like non-LND nodes.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, you just can't use Bolt 12 if you only have pairs with, or if you're only have peers with LND nodes, then they just wouldn't forward these onion messages. So
yeah,
like yeah, it's a good start.
So yeah, very happy to hear about that.
Very exciting. Yeah, last week. I mean, this was opened what in 2025? Oh, actually, okay. This PR has not been open for that long, even though people have been talking about it for like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, Bolt 12 was only ratified like in 24.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I remember I had a hackathon project in 2023 that was specifically directed to like towards solving this problem so that LND wouldn't have to like process those onion message forwarding. Like the idea was like we would.
That was 2024.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think it was 2023.
No, it's 2024. It was when you were out for the what was it, the crazy pack week on the island or whatever.
No.
It was like right before that.
This was Sats by Southwest #2. It was the 1 year after Pleb FM.
Sats by Southwest 2. I'm pretty sure you did anti-LN.
That I'm describing anti-LN.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about your like thing of your the welder thing you worked on with Super Testnet.
No, that was in Berlin. It was not that one. It was not that one.
I know you were talking about the Noster as like the messaging layer.
Yeah, and like in the presentation, talked about the fact that maybe this can get rid of some of the Bolt 12 FUD about free messaging. Like, I don't know, it's crazy that it's been a long time. We're so old.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
A standard for stateless VTXO verification. VTXO is our favorite type of TXOs.
Wow, another acronym to unpack. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So and then we get to VTXO is a virtual transaction output, which is the fundamental primitive inside of ARC-based systems. So in ARC, you don't have a UTXO, but you have a VTXO, and a VTXO is effectively an unpublished UTXO. And you can pay people with these VTXOs, and they're as good as gold because you can always withdraw from your VTXO. But this produces an interesting problem. How do you know that your VTXO is actually valid? How do you know when you get paid it? Like, how can you have confidence that you actually can turn your VTXO into a UTXO? Because there have been bugs found where like the cash out transactions like won't be published for some reason, or that like once you'll run into issues like several transactions deep in the chain. So that's kind of concerning.
Yeah, I guess you could publish them, but then it's like that defeats the purpose of having the VTXO.
Correct, and
if you publish them, then you're doing an on-chain transaction.
It's also quite expensive to publish these. Like the idea is that you keep them in the system, but in an emergency you can like spend some money and pull it out. So this is a tool called, or I forget what the tool is called, but
VPAC.
VPAC is the standard, and then they built a tool using the standard. So VPAC is a standard to provide a mechanism to independently verify and visualize your VTXOs. with the goal being to develop a very efficient verifier that can run on low-end hardware like hardware wallets. So it would be nice if your hardware wallet could actually verify that what it's receiving is like truly good money, rather than just trusting that by its very nature of being a VTXO, it's valid. So yeah, they released this and also this cool, very vibe-coded tool called Arc Sovereign Audit that allows you to verify your VTXOs. So you can generate something called a sovereignty map, and this shows the transactions you need to cash out. Let's see.
Got some VTXOs we can verify?
Yeah, I was looking for the complicated. So it supports both the Arc Labs transaction of VTXOs and also the second BTC VTXOs, the two companies with different implementations.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. So on the left we have a Arc Labs VTXO, which is a Sigma VTXO. So we can see that we have a just one hop, like one intermediate transaction, and then we can get our UTXO. But then on the Arc Labs one, they have multiple transactions. So we can see that there's a few different steps that we need to verify, but we can do it. So it's pretty cool. Have you gotten bit by the Arc bug yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, Arc is interesting. They keep making concessions though. Like Arc is super cool. You can do super scalable, like low cost off-chain payments that are supposed to be non-custodial. But in order to make the UX like not dog shit, no offense, and in order to make the UX like not terrible, and also for it to like be credibly non-custodial, you need covenants. So everything that they're doing until then is effectively a stopgap solution.
Yeah.
And it seems like both of the companies are going into like a semi-trusted situation of where like, yeah, it's effectively custodial. It's effectively a federated system.
Yeah. And that's why it's just kind of like adding more complexity on top of Lightning. It's like, well, now we have to have a third protocol that uses Lightning. And it's just like, or we could just build better self-custodial Lightning experiences.
Yeah, I mean, like the vision of like using this to have like virtually free channel opens, I think is amazing. Like if you use this and you can build a channel factory, then like that works. Like you have non-custodial payments that scale infinitely. But
to do that in a trustless way, we need covenants.
Exactly, and until then, we're LARPing.
Yeah.
Yep. So cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of new Arc wallets launching. Like I saw Christoph has an Arc wallet now. Christoph Ono, as well as our boy Nitesh.
Yeah.
Wonder when we'll be able to use those.
I think they're on testnet right now. I think Nitesh,
both.
I think. Well.
Oh, actually, yeah. No, Nitesh said that the Noah wallet that they're working on, they want to launch it, but like second BTC is like putting some last minute updates before they go to mainnet. So it'd be irresponsible for the wallet to go to mainnet before the protocol's on mainnet.
I think they might both be like Signet, testnet.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, moving on. Next Arc topic, Arc Labs, one of the two major Arc companies, raises $5.2 million with Tether to go build out the future to programmable Bitcoin, or programmable finance in Bitcoin. So yeah, massive round, $5.2 million in seed funding, so it's a seed round, led by Tether, but also includes Ego Death Capital, Epic VC, Lion 26, Sats Ventures, and Contribution Capital. I think all of these are Bitcoin VCs other than Tether, who invests in other non-Bitcoin things. I've not heard of this one. This Contribution Capital I've not heard of, but every other one I've heard of. Pretty cool. Yeah. So ARK is being taken seriously by the investor community. Yeah. They keep shipping. Some very smart people work there. And one of the things that Tether's CEO is talking about is that they're excited about ARK Labs' implementation of ARK for its potential to launch Tether on ARK Labs' arcade network. So, I don't know, any thoughts?
My thoughts are that, you read this article about the launch and it's like, well, 5.2 million to bring programmable finance to Bitcoin. And I mean, I guess I've just heard this sales pitch for a long time of like, this is like what Marco, the CEO, is saying. Bitcoin is the most liquid digital asset in the world, but it's lacked the programmable infrastructure that financial applications require. And like, that's a very common narrative. Like I hear that narrative. It's like a very like copy paste narrative for almost all of these projects that are like, Bitcoin is the hardest money, but it doesn't have programmability. Bitcoin is the hardest money, but it doesn't have DeFi. Bitcoin is like so liquid, but there's just like no way to program it, bro. So it's something I hear a lot, and I feel like anytime a company, I'm not trying to like I'm think it's cool that I'm happy they got a raise, but like it's just it's kind of just in terms of like Bitcoin startup news, it's like, another one that's like, hey, we did a raise because we told everyone we could add programmability to Bitcoin or something.
Yeah,
it's just a common narrative.
Yeah,
You'd think that with the amount of companies that have raised rounds on the promise that Bitcoin isn't programmable, but I'm going to make it programmable. Like you'd think that with the amount of capital that's been poured into it, somebody would have figured it out by now.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT how many companies have made a similar. Let's ask Grok. How many companies adjacent to Bitcoin have made a similar claim to this? So, like off the top of my head, I'm thinking of like Rootstock, Stacks, all of the people, or like all of the people that try to make like Bitcoin rollups at Bitcoin Vegas conference last year.
Yeah, I mean it's just so common. So this is just, it's another one for them. Happy for them and their company, but it's just another one of many in my view. I think it's also just very telling that like that's definitely where the like investor attention is like just can you find a way to like build like Bitcoin is already programmable money, right? It just doesn't have the things that we want, which is basically the ability to make tokens and I guess DeFi stuff or whatever.
That's chugging.
Oh my God, Grok is still going.
A minute later, still chugging.
I mean, it already has a long list, but it's still going.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least 12 companies so far. Hey, I was able to originate the claim properly. But it lists 10 companies briefly. And then it says additional projects, actually, so it hasn't even...
It says this is not an exhaustive count as the sentiment is a common refrain among Bitcoin layer 2 builders and DeFi innovators. And then goes on to list many other projects.
Yeah.
Stacks, Rootstock, Shocker Chain, yeah.
I mean, as much as we're ribbing on ARK Labs, like I do respect those guys. They're brilliant and they're doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I like it. I used Arcade for my hackathon project at Bitcoin plus Istanbul, and really enjoyed working with it. They're like dev tool, like it was very simple dev experience to get up and running with it. So I definitely appreciated it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not really making a dig at them so much as I am just making an observation about the state of like funding for Bitcoin projects. That it's like if you want to do stuff that like, open source projects that improve self-custody and all that, that's all, more difficult to get funding for. But then things that add tokens and programmability and stuff, that's, kind of easy. It seems easier to do a raise for me. Like
I mean, naturally, like the narrative does make sense. It is a compelling narrative. Like if you have Bitcoin that's valuable, and the idea that like, oh, if you can't do financial services properly on Bitcoin, then if you could allow people to do financial services, that would be a large value add. And
but it's just like I can't get over it. It's like there's been so many companies for like a decade doing raises with this same promise that
so it neglects,
we're going to bring financial services to Bitcoin.
So it neglects like the detail that statement. It neglects the detail that there have been dozens of other people that have made the same claim, have built something, and then nobody used it.
And that's what I guess what I'm wondering is like, what's the end game with all this stuff? Because like, is it just be like, well, somebody built this, already before and nobody used it, but this time they'll use it.
Yeah, like I mean, there has to be a belief that your thing is better than those other things, and with all that being said, like the ARC-based one is a lot more interesting to me than the other, just like send Bitcoin to some bridging contract and then just trust that like the bridge is going to hold, and then you're just running EVM. Like Arc Labs is doing interesting things with like TapScript. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's you have to have some like high hopes for in order to like to buy into it, but yeah, no,
it's just that, it's like it was like the same promise with Taproot Assets. It's like, wow, we're going to bring programmability to Lightning. Whoa. And, there was supposed to be a lot of that. And still, we haven't seen like the adoption for that. The narrative was like, wow, it's going to bring all this economic activity to Lightning. And, you're going to have people opening up Lightning channels, Bitcoin Lightning channels, just to provide liquidity for all the dollar coins and other things people are sending over that. And still, it's just been like, I've observed it. It's a slog getting it to work. And maybe I guess I'm venting a little bit here, but I guess I just am getting kind of like
jaded.
I'm getting like protocol fatigue.
I see.
I'm getting this like protocol fatigue of, I feel like every month, every week, maybe multiple times a week, somebody is like, we've made a new protocol that fixes all these problems, and if only everybody would adopt this protocol, then we would have this amazing thing. And so
on the same thread, like I've gone into like discussions with my dad. I brought my dad, who's not technical, to like some Bitcoin conferences, and he's like a business guy and gets very frustrated hearing people talk about like building protocols and like building standards as a business. Because he like pulled me aside and he was like, all these people don't know how standards are actually adopted in the real world. Like how standards are adopted in the real world is Walmart creates a standard and then forces all of their people that work with them to use a standard, and then boom, now that's not the standard. It's like you don't make grassroots standards are super rare in the real world. So like the idea of having competitive advantage of a standard just doesn't make sense if you don't have leverage.
Yeah, and like just as an example for like what when I think of like, I mean, okay, my knowledge of the world outside of Bitcoin might be a little bit dated and lacking, so people can feel free to laugh at me. But like I remember, I guess it was like during COVID or shortly thereafter, the real hot place to be was Binance Smart Chain.
BSB, yeah.
And like all of the BSC, yeah.
BSC, sorry, yeah.
So and that was like the hot place to be. Because like EVM, I guess gas fees were high or whatever, so people were going to BSC. And, this wasn't some thing that's like, oh, we're benevolently making this open standard for the world. It's just like, no, people like use Binance. Like people like do business with Binance, and so
Binance makes their partners adopt BSC.
They don't force them to. It's not like Binance is like holding a gun to anybody's head.
I don't know, but they might hold a business gun saying like, in order to sign this contract, in order for us to like work with you, you must first turn on.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's just like you make it like, oh, you want to do business with us will integrate with our, API, integrate with our smart chain. That's easily, you can get set up today. We'll tell your engineers how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even always have to be this coercive thing. It's just kind of like, okay, we're a business. You have a product that we want. Well, this is how you integrate with our business. And you use our protocol or our standard or our way of doing things. And now it's like one of the hot things is like Base on Coinbase. I guess it's like an EVM sidechain or whatever.
Yeah, it's an optimistic rollup where there's a single validator and it's Coinbase.
Yeah, and it's like, you can dress that up and be like, oh yeah, Coinbase published an open spec on how to do that. I don't know if they did or not. But like, even if Coinbase has like a website of beautiful looking developer documentation on how to use Base, it doesn't mean that everybody is adopting or using Base because we're like, what's the best open standard I can use? And then they're like, wow, Base really has great developer docs. It's so open. It's so open, so protocol. And then they just started, no, they use it because it's Coinbase.
Of course.
Because like they want to do stuff with Coinbase and like trade and stuff.
It's like a flywheel. It's like Coinbase's reputation allows people to buy it, like trust them to like get some traction. If people say like, oh, Coinbase wouldn't back something if they didn't have confidence that it would work and that it would be good. So then people join. Now they can invest more resources to make it better. And then they make it better. So then like literally like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you have a big company backing something and working on something and selling it as a product, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be easier to create network effects rather than these grassroots things. It's the exact same thing as Walmart.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Protocol fatigue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, that's my rant, my segue.
I mean, I could even go deeper. Like I'm even on some more Bitcoin proper protocol stuff, I'm fatiguing on as well. Like, anywho, moving on. Crest, a new Bitcoin side system announcement. So Crest is a new privacy tool built on Citria. Citria is one of the two most noteworthy roll-up implementations being built on Bitcoin using BitVM-based systems and garbled. Actually, no, they're just doing BitVM too. I don't think they're doing a garbled circuit. Or are they doing a garbled circuit thing? Yeah, they're doing the GRA13 verifier. So Citria is one of the two big roll-ups, and it's cool that there's companies being announced that are built on their platform. So yes, this protocol might be used because somebody's using it or announced that they're making a company that uses it. I think it's cool that it seems like it's privacy is becoming cool again. Like privacy is now like people are seeing it as a marketable end to pursue. Like people want to build on something, they're like, okay, what's a value add that we can do? Like privacy, like let's freaking go. They realize that people actually want privacy and care about it. So, we have a privacy tool being built on Citria. This is cool. There's a closed beta. I just was poking around their GitHub repo and I saw that this is interesting. This is a fork of another protocol called Nocturne, which is built on Ethereum. So if I'm correct, or if my understanding is correct, Citria's rollup is basically like an Ethereum clone. Like you can bridge into it using this BitVM-based system, but then once you're in Citria land, you're basically on Ethereum. You're on an EVM. So this Nocturne protocol is an Ethereum-based privacy protocol, and this Crest protocol is just a fork of the Nocturne protocol. So,
okay, they just have it using the Citria EVM instead of the Ethereum EVM.
Exactly. You just point to Citria, and then it's all the same stuff, and you change the branding, and then boom, you have a company.
Wow.
Yeah.
We could do that. I should just have like an OpenClaw running 24/7. Just trolling around for Ethereum protocols and forking them and running them on Citria. I'm joking.
I mean, it's worth considering.
I'm good.
Should launch FOMO 3D.
What's FOMO 3D?
It's the last pay wins before last pay wins.
Oh yeah.
But it was on Ethereum. I hadn't heard about it until after building last pay wins, and it's Yeah, like a smart contract where you keep depositing money. The last person who has deposited money gets all the money in the smart contract. And I think it got over like a few $1 million in its heyday.
Huh.
Cool. I am happy that people care about privacy.
Privacy good.
Privacy good. All right. We're in the home stretch. AI. We have a couple of AI topics. First is a delving post from, I think this is...
It's AJ Towns.
Yeah, Anthony Towns. A while ago, we talked about another post from Instagibbs, Bitcoin Core developer, talking about how he was using Claude Code to rebase and keep up to date his LN symmetry fork. So AJ Towns was inspired by our podcast talking about this thing, and he then did it himself. So yeah, he has a long post talking about how he's been experimenting and thinking deeply about using Claude Code to review relatively complex changes in Bitcoin Core, and they're finding real value from using it.
Yeah, I think there's some details to break down into here. Okay, so here's I want to pull some quotes from AJ here, just because I think there's some interesting stuff here. So he said, I think there's a few different goals when reviewing a PR that are worth being a bit explicit about. Does this actually do what it's supposed to do? Is doing this a good thing? If it is a good thing, is it worth the cost? Are there more important things that should take priority? Could this be done better? Are the changes properly tested? Do I understand the change well enough to fix any bugs in it that get found later? So that's kind of like his like, I guess, mental framework for thinking about reviewing a PR for Core. And then he said that with this in mind, I found two pretty strong biases that I didn't think were very helpful. Claude would largely take it for granted that the idea was good and worthwhile and only review correctness. Claude would largely try to do everything itself, form an opinion and state a conclusion, and even offer to post that as a PR review, sometimes even before I'd had a chance to look at the commits myself. Yeah, that's an interesting one, because I think that like the part of why AJ is bringing this up is that like the problem now is, in Bitcoin Core, we arguably just need more reviewers. I mean, don't get me wrong, people writing code is good too, but we also need people to like review the backlog of PRs that there are. And as we see people like Instagibbs like using Claude Code to refactor the LN symmetry thing and all that, it's like, the developers that we do have, the rate at which they're going to produce stuff is going to increase. You'll probably also get, first-time contributors using AI. I think you'll get a lot of slop too. But the PR review burden is going to increase. And a lot of agents and LLMs have this kind of sycophancy problem. They tell you just what you want to hear. A lot of the time, it's really difficult. You really have to force. You really have to try hard to get an agent to break out of that sycophancy and like actually tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it just biases heavily towards like positivity. Like it won't think critically first, which is kind of what you want as a reviewer.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, the thing about it is that like, you can ask an agent to do something and like, I don't know, for example, like, if I go and ask an OpenClaw, like, if my OpenClaw knows what I really, need to be doing, but then like, I just ask it about something totally random, like, hey, is bit 3222, like, or something like totally random, ask it some question, another human, like a human has context and might like give you a little side eye, like, why are you asking about that? Or like, shouldn't you be working on something else? Or like, is this really a priority right now? Like, and when you just ask a text model, of course, there's this kind of, there is intelligence there. It's like there's intelligence in terms of like, yes, it's able to do like incredible feats of math and computation, but there's sometimes this just like lack of context, frequently this lack of context. And so then, yeah, you can open a PR that probably shouldn't be merged, would probably fail a lot of AJ's points here of like, is doing this a good thing? Is the cost worth it? Like those are like things that really require a lot of context and, higher level, thinking of the situation, and you're not going to get that. But what he did propose in here that, and this is just kind of a casual discussion about like people comparing their experiences with using AI for code review and stuff. But he talks about doing this quiz approach, and let me see if I can find it where he typed it up. Yeah, so like, for example, he says, okay, instead of the do it everything for you aspect, so we want, he's like, we want to do PR review that adds brain power to the process instead of subtracting it. And when you have it just do the review for you in a kind of sycophantic way, you're subtracting brain power from the process.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to use AI in a way that adds brain power to the process. So here's what he says he's doing. Telling it to run a sub-agent and do a review, but keep the results of the review private until I've done my own review so that we can then compare them and immediately summarize the results when the agent finished, of course. So that's kind of interesting. It's like it's reviewing it alongside of you to see if you missed anything. And then you're comparing your results. The other one is telling it that I'm stepping through each commit and to quiz me on anything that seems complicated in the commit. This worked pretty well and found a couple of things I didn't understand fully. Helps to disable show tips via config, or else the quiz answers will appear as suggested responses though. So basically saying that you go through the commit and you have it ask you questions to quiz you on your knowledge of it, which helps you to think deeper, which I think that's very like bicycle of the mind, Claude Super Bowl commercial thinking. I like that. It's like using the AI to help you like with your own thinking. And then asking it for help doing things when I'm stepping through. In particular, I've always found it hard to get code coverage reports and IWU Clang format results. Telling the AI to do that for me has been great. Yeah.
It's cool. And then they also created, I thought it was cool. Did you see the skill that he created?
Oh yeah, the core principles.
Yeah, so like just a bunch of, I don't know, maybe not, somewhat dogmatic sounding, but just like very like high-minded, like just guiding principles for Claude to abide by, such as make every change as simple as possible, impact minimal code, find root causes, no temporary fixes, senior developer standards, changes should only touch what's necessary, avoid introducing bugs. So like, yeah, somewhat nothing like that mind-blowing.
I love that one of the things in the verification before done step in the still, ask yourself, would a staff engineer approve this? And I'm just like thinking ahead to like the future in like 20 years, and the AIs are like, what's a staff engineer?
That's hilarious. No, I'll be able to look up the definition.
No, I just mean it's like it's funny when in our I'm a little bit joking there, but there's a lot of times like language in our vocabulary that over time we forget the original meaning of it. Like when people say like 2-bit. So they use it as an insult, and like most modern people like don't know like the.
Never heard of that.
It's like you 2-bit conniving son of a bitch or something like that. Anyways, I forget. I mean, it's like some reference. I don't even remember because I'm too young. Yeah. But it's like a reference from like so long ago that like people still say it, but like
I mean, it turns into an idiom of sorts. Like
yeah, people don't even know what it means. Like they know the vibe of it. They know
the meaning. They just don't know like the etymology.
Yeah, they don't know like what it was originally referring to. So I think that like, would a staff engineer approve this? It's like I think we'll probably get to a future where people aren't actively thinking about what a staff engineer is, but maybe it'll become some kind of term of art in AI code thinking.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what like the etymology of staff engineer is?
I mean, I think of it as somebody who like, maybe I don't, but I think of it as like somebody who like, works is like an engineer at a company.
No. That's
Please
not what
tell
it's
me.
talking about. That's wrong. It's so staff is typically a like a specific designation of a role of being like the best engineer that works in a certain domain, and it comes from staff surgeon. Like if you're the staff surgeon at a hospital, you're like the head, like the primo best guy for like certain types of surgery. So like a staff engineer is like it's above a head engineer usually, like or sorry, above a senior engineer. It goes like junior, senior,
So it's just a
staff.
play on staff surgeon.
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. I don't even know why it's called staff surgeon. But yeah, so
I wonder if staff surgeon's like a play on something else too.
I wonder if it's like something like
Okay.
stuff in Doctorland is old. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like now we
What's
have
the
like
etymology of
roles.
staff surgeon? Military. Oh, so like
Oh, like a staff sergeant.
staff sergeant. Yeah.
Okay, but so hospitals that are non-military still have staff surgeon.
Yeah. 17. Okay, it's really freaking old.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so even we've lost the meaning. Like we don't know like that staff is like a military rank or
Yeah.
1702 from German influences. Point being, everything's a remix, everything's a meme.
Yeah.
Like memetics,
Cool.
et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
Let's finish this off.
Yeah, let's finish it off.
Rob Hamilton had this cool tweet that blew up, not just on Bitcoin Twitter, but on real Twitter too. So he quote tweeted somebody that said, Claude wiped our production database with a Terraform command. It took down Datatalk's hub, course platform in 2.5 years of submission. Homeworks, projects, and leaderboards. Oh no. And then Rob Ham tweets, IBM in 1979, a computer can never be held accountable. Therefore, a computer must never make a management decision. Yeah, words to live by. No, I mean, it's like super deep. Like people are saying, oh, what happens when like AIs are running the companies in the world? It's like computers will be the very important like management level decisions are probably going to be the last thing we turn over to AIs, specifically because of the accountability thing. It's too important to have like to own responsibility and accountability, and because computers can never be accountable, you can't trust them to be responsible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hazard of vibe coding nowadays.
What?
This. Saying the guy saying Claude Code wiped out, production database and all that. It's true story. This stuff happens.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's dangerous to use, but yeah, like maybe the moral of the story is like, don't let it be able to like kill you, like reduce the blast
Yeah, no,
radius,
absolutely, I agree. Yeah.
sandbox everything, and
Yeah, no, I get it.
like the profound point that I think is like the interesting part of this is like thinking in the future. Like a lot of people have this mental model of that like computers will be making decisions for humanity, and like this contradicts that.
Yeah, I don't know. It does contradict it. It's hard to read. It's hard to read the exact tone of voice that Rob was posting that in, but it's funny nonetheless.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just the principle of like accountability is like an important part of decision making, and if you cannot be held accountable, like if you cannot own the responsibility, you cannot be trusted to make the decision.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anywho, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, it's like I could riff on that all night. It's like there are people who think that, one day we're gonna have to deal with AI personhood, and then there's other people who, people could argue it from the angle of like, well, the Bitcoin ledger is a computer, rendering decision making, but I would counter argue that it's a bunch of people voluntarily choosing to reach consensus by running the same software. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's a deep topic. But, it's not that kind of podcast. It's a Bitcoin podcast.
Yeah, it's a Bitcoin podcast.
It has nothing to do with AI. Speaking of Bitcoin hit a milestone. This week, Bitcoin crosses the milestone of the 20 millionth coin mined. So I don't know if you know this, Stephen, but Bitcoin will only ever have 21 million coins.
I didn't know that, Alex. Wow, thanks for letting me know.
My pleasure.
Need to get some more Bitcoin.
Yeah, so actually it's funny, this article gets it wrong. It says, Bitcoin crosses the 20 million coins mined and only 1 in 20 remains. Do you see the error?
Yeah, I see. Maybe they mean 1 in
21.
1 million and 21 million. Maybe I think they meant 1/20th remains.
Yeah, but it's 1 in 21.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like, it's just inaccurate.
Whatever.
It's funny. But yeah, milestone. More fodder for the argument that all miners are doomed for destruction because they're running out of money, or they're running out of mining subsidies. Congratulations, Foundry Mining USA, for mining the 20 millionth Bitcoin.
Huh. Yeah. Meanwhile, all the miners are pivoting to AI.
Yeah, because they're not going to survive if they just do Bitcoin.
Yeah. Anywho.
And the last thing to mention is, and on a bit of a lighter note, in our shitcoining section of the podcast, a nice post. What happened after Meta acquired Moltbook? Yeah, if you didn't know, Meta acquired Moltbook, the AI social media platform for your agents. So Meta bought that, and this person is talking about the similarly named Molt token, not affiliated with the project, but hand wave. So right after the acquisition, Molt pumped 5x from 0.0000194 to 0.000116, which is a lot. That's
Wow, that's fractions of a penny.
Yeah, that's like 1,000x from like 194 100,000ths to 116 10,000ths. Crazy. The hype faded and the token retracted over 60% to 4,000 10,000ths. Why? Because there's been zero clarity from either Moltbook or Meta about the future role of the Molt token after the acquisition. Was Molt rugged by Meta? Partially, yes. What's the point of a token if once the company gets acquired, holders get no recognition, no ownership, and no clear role? What do you think about this situation? So I guess we need to pour one out for all of the Molt token holders that are getting rugged by Meta. Yeah, look at this.
Who is this guy?
I don't know.
Why are we picking on him? He's an idiot.
I thought it was funny. I just read the thing and
yeah,
it's he makes it sound like Molt was affiliated with Moltbook, but
I don't think.
Kinda. There we go. So was Molt actually associated with the project? Kinda, for sure. The X account was pushing it. So I think Molt, the token, was created on this one platform that I'm forgetting the name of, that allows you to create Solana meme coins and then automatically give some of the proceeds to a certain designee. Like you can have a designated collector that you can cut in, and somebody else made it for Moltbook, and then they just collected it. So they didn't create it, but they still profited off of it.
I see. And so Moltbook has made public tweets saying that oh, we collected 700. Wait.
No,
thankfully, the fees from Molt are helping to keep the lights on. Never thought oh, wow. Oh, they actually are talking about it.
Yeah. So they said that they made money from this Molt thing, from the token.
Huh. Well, okay.
So, anywho, Facebook or Meta is now dabbling in shitcoins again.
Yeah. This sounds like the very just kind of unfortunate, the very unfortunate blast radius of shitcoinery. Just in that it can arguably start with something very well-intentioned of oh, I'm going to go use this, one-click platform and make a token for like this website I think is cool to support them. And then that website starts, like, oh, cool, somebody made a thing to support me. And then I'll talk about it on Twitter. And then, yeah, and then you get acquired by a real company that doesn't have time for that shit. And then, then it's like, and then all these people have started investing in it because
they mistake it, they equivocate it with equity, which it's not.
Yeah.
It's just a fun token that you're buying to support the people, but it's effectively a donation.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's just like, and there's probably like private Telegram channels and stuff that people are getting pulled into where people like talk them into why this token is about to pump and all this kind of stuff. And so there's this whole ecosystem of people who kind of, prey off of other people. So yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, at least it's not as bad as it used to be.
But the moral here is that if you're going to buy random tokens on the internet, you are effectively gambling. So you might as well just go to Vegas
or Polymarket. I hear that's fun to gamble on.
Like, why just go to Vegas?
It's so far away,
Oh man, driving to Vegas, flying to Vegas.
Or like,
man.
I mean, I might as well turn on DraftKings. Or Stake.com.
Yeah, or whatever. It's just like.
But yeah, some people are still learning that tokens are not connected with the underlying, or that are not connected whatsoever to whatever thing is selling the token. So
I'm reminded of the scene from Silicon Valley where like the main character goes to like, see some like farm out in the countryside, and it's like because it's like they're building this gigantic data center like right next to this farm or whatever, and the guy's like saying like, I don't like those data centers. They're using those data centers to host porn sites. Back in my day, you would, walk
porn of magazines.
You'd walk into a store and, buy a magazine. And kind of reminds me of this. It's like, back in my day, you used to go to, Vegas and, everyone would know you were a degenerate because you were going to Vegas for the weekend.
Yeah, you used to have to sleep in a hotel room and smoke cigarettes while you're gambling.
Yeah. Now you just invest in weird tokens that people try to sell to you on X and Telegram, and just hide your financial instability from your loved ones until it's too late.
Yeah. So if it was just that, I wouldn't feel strongly about it whatsoever. But the part that like feels clearly scummy, where Vegas, while still arguably scummy, not like this, is like people equivocate this not to gambling, but they equivocate it to like investing, or if this is like this is like something that's smart to do, or like you're savvy if you do this. Whereas the right way to look at it is it's soul gambling. Like speculation is the only business.
Yeah. This is actually kind of funny because you said that now there's platforms where you can make tokens to support like things you like.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's the
because that adds an extra layer of like sleaziness to this, because before it was companies like in the ICO days being like, oh, I'm making a token to fund my startup, and I'm giving you air quotes ownership stake in it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, now somebody else can make a token to support you, so you can wash your hands of it and be not involved in it.
Yeah. What's the name of this fucking platform? There's let's ask the bot. What's the name of the Solana meme coin platform that agent-related projects are launching, and they get some of the credit of the token proceeds or sales? And like oftentimes YouTubers are like, people are creating tokens and then giving some of the money to the YouTubers, and then the YouTubers have to say that they'll never touch the money in order to separate themselves. I love dictation. It's not pump.fun. Maybe it's tapass.fun. I just lost the tapass.fun domain. I didn't renew it.
Oh no.
Sad. Maybe I need to make arc.fun tap.
Yeah, you could. You can make arc.fun. Okay. Well, Are we going to wait for Grok to finish
No,
working?
it's okay, we can kill it. This has been fun. Thank you for everybody listening in for another episode of BitDevs Radio Hour.
Yeah, I don't think we have any boosts, but I'll check and see.
Again, if you want to be cool like Anthony Towns and Michael Saylor and all of the other people that support our podcast, please zap us on Fountain FM, send in your questions, and let us know what you think.
I'm still trying to navigate Fountain.fm's like interface. It's kind of I'm not smart enough to figure out how to use it.
It's okay.
Honestly.
We can save it for next week if anybody boosted us.
Yeah, no, we're good. We got nothing. Okay, cool. Thanks for listening. Catch you later.
See you guys.
Okay, how do I stop a podcast?